The last piece of the puzzle for my new build is an operating system. The build, if you recall, includes an AMD Ryzen 9 9900X, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, Radeon RX 7600 graphics card, a Cooler Master V850 PSU Ghost Edition cooler, all on an Asus B850i motherboard packed in this Fractal Terra Jade case. I recently discovered and installed Omarchy as the main OS, and I can finally stop distro hopping as now I finally feel at home. Now, if you're curious, Omarchy is an opinionated remix of Arch Linux and the Hyprland Tiling Window Manager. It's created by DHH, creator of Ruby on Rails. It's designed to provide a chef's choice experience, combining carefully selected tools, packages, and configurations into a polished, cohesive system that's immediately productive. Omarchy aims to simplify the installation process of Arch Linux and Hyprland. The automated script sets up the system in roughly 10 minutes. I'll quickly demonstrate the process using a virtual machine, which is very similar to a full installation. For starters, though, you're going to want to go ahead and go to the Arch Linux website, and you're going to want to download Arch Linux first. So download that ISO before we get started. For more detailed instructions, including tips and tricks, you can always refer to the comprehensive Omarchy manual, which I have to say, excellent work here, DHH. This is very detailed and very helpful. Now that I've downloaded the Arch Linux ISO, I'll use boxes to install it. I'll use the default settings to quickly demonstrate how fast Omarchy can be set up. Now, the virtual machine setup is very similar to a full installation, but you'll need to configure Wi-Fi separately in the initial Arch terminal. I've included the Wi-Fi commands in the description for easy reference, though. It'll only take a moment for Arch to start. Once it does, you'll see a terminal prompt. From there, just type arch install to launch the installer. We'll now go through the installer's minimum requirements. First, you'll need to configure the disk, so select disk configuration and choose best effort default partition layout. Next, select BTRFS and enable compression. Choose disk encryption and encryption type. Now you'll enter a password. It's very important after you enter the password to then select your partition, otherwise it's not going to take. It's good now to hit back a few times and get back to the initial page of the installer. Optionally, you can change the host name to Omarchy or another name of your choice. For authentication, create a username and password. Confirm and exit. After that, you can copy your current network setup under the network configuration. This is also important so that way you can already be connected when you go to install Omarchy. For additional packages, use a backslash to search for and select wget, which is needed to install Omarchy. Finally, choose your time zone and begin the installation. Once you select install, it's going to install Arch Linux based on that Arch installation, and it's going to run pretty quickly. I'll breeze through this though, so you don't have to sit through that entire installation. Again, this will only take a few minutes. Now we'll jump right into setting up Omarchy. With Arch now installed and the virtual machine rebooted, we'll launch it for the first time. You'll be prompted to enter your disk encryption password, followed by the username and password you created during the authentication configuration. You're now ready to install Omarchy by running the following wget command. Make sure when typing in this command that you type -q capital O, not 0 dash. Again, that is a capital O, not a 0. It'll first ask you to sudo, then shortly after, it'll ask you for your name and email address. Those credentials are used to pre-configure Git. You'll see the script initially running here before you get that prompt, and then here you'll see that prompt for the username and email. And then I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this installation so you also don't have to sit through this full installation. However, just note this only takes a few minutes. With that being said, I was immediately in love at initial install, given not just how fast the process is, just how remarkably intuitive it is as well. To think that in a matter of minutes, you can have a fully installed and custom Arch Linux Hyprland tiling window experience is just pure awesomeness. Omarchy is now successfully installed. After the system reboots, we can jump right back into Omarchy. Now you'll be prompted for the password for the user we configured during authentication. The initial load might take a few minutes longer than usual, which is normal. Don't worry, subsequent boot times will be much faster once this is fully set up and after following this initial boot sequence. So this initial boot here, again, much quicker in typical boot times. But now we're officially in the Omarchy desktop environment. From the moment you log in, you're greeted with a stunning desktop environment and a gorgeous default theme. You'll also find all the essential apps you need right out of the box, many of which are often a hassle to install manually on other distros. Simply pressing super space on your keyboard gives you that access to your applications. Omarchy also includes a unified menu system for easy access to everything across the system, which you can also easily get to with a super alt space. You can choose from many other great themes. For this demonstration, I'll switch to the theme I'm currently using. Now that the demo is complete though, I'll close and delete this virtual machine and jump right into my full Omarchy installation. On my full installation, you can see the theme I've enabled, which perfectly matches the desk aesthetic and custom PC build. You'll also notice the web apps and various software I use, many of which came pre-installed with Omarchy or were much easier to install because of it, something I'll cover in more detail shortly. A key feature though is the unified menu system, which is accessible with a simple keyboard shortcut and provides a single point of control for everything, from managing themes to installing web apps and accessing documentation. Speaking of web apps, adding your own web apps in Omarchy is incredibly simple through the unified menu. From the menu, navigate to install and then web apps. From there, you'll just need to type in the name for your web app, enter the URL for the web app, provide the icon URL. There's a convenient link to dashboardicons.com to help you find one. Just like that, your new web app is created and accessible from your app menu. You can even add a keyboard shortcut for it in the config files for even quicker access. In Terminal, I installed SCRCPY, which I'll leave some details on SCRCPY in the description, but that way I can easily access my phone, whether from Wi-Fi or using a USB-C cable. So here I'm accessing my Nothing Phone 3 directly in Omarchy. Again, you can use SCRCPY on any distro. I just wanted to note how easy it is to also use with Omarchy. Yes, it's super easy to set this up. You can set up SCRCPY in Terminal and off you go on your phone with remote access to your device. Omarchy comes pre-installed with local send, making it easy to send and receive files between your devices like my custom PC and my Nothing Phone 3, however. The core of Omarchy is the keyboard-driven workflow. The Hyprland tiling window manager automatically arranges your windows for efficiency, moving away from traditional mouse-based management. This philosophy is extended with a curated set of default applications, including NeoVim for editing, for example, to the terminal, file manager, etc., all throughout Omarchy. For sheer productivity, Omarchy is ready to go in just 10 minutes. Right out of the box, you can easily open multiple apps across different workspaces to edit videos, browse the web, message friends, or even edit config files on the fly, all controlled seamlessly with just your keyboard. Omarchy has completely won me over. For me, this is the only way to do Linux. After years of feeling stagnant with macOS, Omarchy has reignited my passion for tech. The move to Linux and Android has been more exciting than any recent Apple products or unboxings I've experienced. I'm eager to continue exploring this journey, learn more, and see how Omarchy evolves. I'm officially 20 days into using Omarchy as my main OS on my custom PC, and I'm happy to report that distro hopping is over. Omarchy is it for me and this custom build. I can't wait to dive deeper into the documentation for NeoVim, Hyprland, and Omarchy itself. As I continue to learn and find ways to potentially improve the system, I might even start contributing to the community myself. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Are you thinking about making the jump to Linux? If you've already switched, what distro are you using? Have you tried Omarchy, or are you currently running it as well? Share your thoughts in the comments. I look forward to that discussion, and as always, thank you for watching. Take care and stay safe.